Welcome to this video, which introduces you to some new features that have been added to Recollector recently. A number of the videos that are on this website were made a while back, a year or more, and we've continued to update Recollector with new features, and I wanted to show you some of those which aren't visible in some of the earlier training videos. One of the new features, or a set of the new features, relates to image windows. So to examine those, let's open up a record here. Here's a record that has a couple of images associated with it. And it's always been true that if you click on a thumbnail image, a full image viewer window is brought up, which lets you look at the image in a larger size. But if you have multiple images associated with a single record, it used to be a little clumsy because if you wanted to then look at the second image or the third image, you had to go back to the original record, click on the other thumbnail, and bring up yet another image window. But thanks to a suggestion from a customer, we've implemented a new feature, which is shown by these two little arrow buttons here, which lets you scroll through the multiple images that you have associated with a single record. So now I don't have to go back and keep opening up another image window. I can just look at all the images, and if you continuously scroll, it wraps around, so you can loop through all of the images in a single window. Another newly added feature is this copy button. So if you click copy here, the image has now been copied to the clipboard, the system clipboard. So for example, suppose you want to share an image with a friend by emailing him a copy of an image. Now you can easily do it by simply clicking that copy button, going to your email program and pasting the image there. Or of course you could paste it anywhere else into a document you're creating, whatever. But it's an easy way of getting images out of your collection without having to go to the underlying file where that image is stored. Another area that we've made recent improvements to relates to subsetting. Now, subsets have always been a part of Recollector. It's a way of reducing the set of records shown, particularly here in list view, from the entire set of records in your collection down to a subset. So for example, in the subset window here, I have created a bunch of subsets. I have one here, acquired before 2000. This will reduce the set of records to just those that are maps, in this case this being a map collection, that were added to my collection before the year 2000. And you see it shows at the top here, subset acquired before 2000. Only 91 items out of the total 207 are being shown. Now, setting up a subset isn't that difficult. There's a menu item for managing your subsets, and there you say you want to create a new subset, and you give the subset a name, you define the conditions for the subset, and eventually you have the subset created. You can do what you just saw me do here, select it. However, that's a little bit tedious if you just momentarily would like to reduce the view of your records to all of those that match some particular text that you can find in them. And let me show you an example of doing that. First, let me go back to showing my full collection. This new feature comes as part of the search capability. So let's bring up the search dialog. Let's say we want to search for all records for maps that were made by the map maker named Blau. So we type in Blau, and we say we want to search in this case, the map maker field. And in the past, we could then click OK, and it would take us to the first record of a Blau map, and we could search next to get to the additional records. And you could go one at a time to find all the Blau records. But suppose you'd like to simply quickly reduce the set of shown records to all of those that are by Blau and hide the others. Well, you can do that. Let's go back to this Find menu. And instead of choosing Search for the next matching record, we'll click this radio button that says Create a temporary search subset. And let's click OK. And very quickly, we now have just the Blau records, as if we had created a formal subset, but we didn't have to go through the whole process of actually doing it. We've created a temporary subset, what's called a search subset. And down in the lower right-hand corner here, you see it says we're currently running with a search subset, and Blau, the word Blau is found in the mapmaker field. Now these temporary search subsets can work together with the other kind of subset. So let's go back to looking at the acquired before 2000 subset and turn that on. And so now we see just 3 records. So now we know that just 3 of the Blau maps in the collection were added to the collection prior to the year 2000. So we really have these 2 different kinds of subsetting, and you can use one, or you can use both, or you can use neither. So let's turn all of the subsetting off at once, show full collection, and now we're back. If you've done a search subset and you just want to turn off the search subsetting but leave the other kind of subsetting on, there's a menu item under search, clear search subset, that will do that. Okay, now I'm going to move on to another feature relating to multiple collections. The Macintosh version of Recollector has always supported the ability to have multiple collections open at once. The PC version, on the other hand, has not had that capability. Though you can create multiple collections, you could only have one open at a time. And if you wanted to look at a different collection, you had to close the first one before opening the other one. Well, that's now been changed so that the PC version has the same capability that the Mac version has. And let me show you how that works. On the PC version, under the File menu, there is now an Open Recent menu choice, and that brings up a list of the collections that you have created, and that list is ordered in most recently used collection at the top, in this case Map Collection, which is the one we're looking at, and less recently used ones below it. Let's open this second collection, the one called Atlases, and that will open a second collection window. Now this Atlas collection, which is one I just started, only has 2 records in it right now, so it's very small. But it still lets us see this principle of having multiple collection windows open at the same time. I can click on any particular window to bring it to the front. So I can click on my map collection window to bring it to the front. And I could click on the Atlas window to bring it to the front, but unfortunately right now it's completely hidden behind the map collection window. Well, we can get around that problem through the Windows menu, which has a new submenu called Collection Windows, and it lets us choose any of the open collections and bring one of those collections to the front. Now, there is an additional capability related to multiple collections which has been added to Recollector as well, and that's the ability to do a jump to hyperlink from one collection to a record in a different collection. Now let's go back to the map collection window to take a look at that. For a long time, or really since the beginning, Recollector has had a hyperlink capability that has let you insert a link to jump from one record to another. So here, for example, I'm on record number 62, but I have a link to record number 95, and by clicking on it, I can quickly jump to that other record, or jump back to number 62. But there was a restriction that those jumps had to be to other records within the same collection. But let's go to our Atlas collection again. And let's take a look at this Colton Atlas, an atlas by George Colton. Now it would be kind of nice if I had a map from this Colton Atlas in my map collection to be able to show it or have a link to it from this Atlas collection record. And I can do that. I do actually have, let's go back again for a second to here. Let's search for Colton. And here we have a Colton map. It's actually a chart of the comparative size of lakes and islands, not a straightforward map. But in any case, it does come from an edition of that Colton Atlas. And let me show you how you can make a link to this particular record from the other collection. The thing you have to pay attention to is the ID number of the record that you want to link to. In this case, it's ID number 4. So with that in mind, we'll go back yet once more to the Atlas collection, and let's edit this Colton record. And I want to make a change to the description information. So I'm going to bring up a larger editing window for that. And I'm going to type in, for an example of the lakes and islands chart from a different edition of this atlas, click here. And I'm going to make a hyperlink out of the word here. To do a hyperlink, click create a hyperlink from the context menu. And I'm going to make a record jump link, an R-type link. And the hyperlink text will be the word here. And the ID number of the record I'm going to link to is record number 4. But that is not record number 4 in the current collection. It's record number 4 in a different collection. And I will choose which collection it is from this drop-down list. It's actually the first one that is shown here, map collection. And I'll click OK. Click OK again, and OK to get out of the editor. And now let's take a look at the item details. So now we have a hyperlink. And if I click that hyperlink, it brings up the other collection, and it takes you right to the desired record. And just to verify that it really works, because we were on that record before, let's just change to some different record in the map collection. Go back to the atlases and click the here link again, and keep your eyes on that background window. Okay, the background window came to the front, it switched to the item details mode, and it brought us to record number 4. And finally, it's not even necessary for this other collection, the map collection, to be open for the hyperlink to work. So let's close the map collection, and here in the Atlas collection, now let's click here. And that brings up the map collection, opens it up automatically, and brings us to the desired record. Okay, two last smaller features that have been recently added that I wanted to point out. One of them relates to the Recollector app, the smartphone app that you can run on an iPhone, iPad, or an Android phone. When you want to transfer your collection data to your iPhone, iPad, or Android device, you use the Export for Download to the Recollector app choice here on the File menu. And when you do that, it brings up a file dialog that asks you, where do you want to put the export file? Previously, the guidelines for transferring this export file to your portable device were to do it either over a cable, using a USB cable to connect your device to your computer and to transfer it that way. Or more recently, we've suggested that people consider using Dropbox, a free service for file sharing that lets you transfer files over the web between one computer and another. And assuming you have Dropbox set up on your computer as well as on your portable device, you can do this very easily by placing the export file, when you're doing this export, directly in the correct Dropbox folder on your computer. And let me show you how to do that. You need to navigate to wherever your Dropbox folder is. And on the PC, it's usually in a subfolder, subdirectory of whatever login name you're logged in under. And so here I'm logged in as Jeremy, and here's my Dropbox folder. So you select that, and within that there's a folder called Apps. So you choose the Apps folder, and within that there's a folder called Recollector. That's where you want to put your export file. So now, when you export your collection and put it there, you're done, because Dropbox takes it from there. It will notice the file has arrived there. It will transfer it automatically to your other devices, and when the file has arrived, you can open up the Recollector app on your iPhone or iPad or Android phone or tablet and look at your list of collections, and you will see that your new version of your export file has arrived. And so it really simplifies it, lets it be a one-step process for syncing up your collection. The last thing I wanted to mention was checking on new versions of Recollector. Um, we make fairly frequent updates to the program as we add new features or streamline certain capabilities, or once in a while have to fix a bug. And previously, you had to go to our website to see what version is the latest, and you'd check on your own version of Recollector to see what version it is, and had to kind of decide manually whether there was a newer version available. Well, that's now built in on a choice on the Help menu. So you can click Check for Updates, and it will open your browser, and it will check to see whether or not the version of Recollector you're running is up to date. And here it shows that it's checked and it found that the one we're running, 2.5.7, is the latest and greatest. If it weren't, it would tell you what version you're running, it would tell you what version is now available, and it would include a button that would let you click on it to download the latest version and to update your local version to the most recent one available. Well, so that's a overview of a set of new features we've added to Recollector, and we'll be continuing to add new features as time goes on, but wanted to keep you as up to date as possible. Thank you so much.